there were widespread reports that the Trump administration wanted to force Maduro out, not by direct regime change, but basically by saying that the U.S. is engaged in formal armed conflict with drug cartels, labeling them as terrorist organizations, and therefore giving the administration license to take out drug-carrying boats and put a bounty on Maduro's head, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Without saying whether or not that was actually the plan, what do you make of that approach? Do you think that that is a smart strategy?
Well, I have to say a few things first. This is not regime change because the change of the regime was already mandated by the people a year ago. So this is not about, an international movement to remove a legitimate president. This is not the case. Maduro is not a legitimate president of Venezuela. He is the head of a narco-terrorist cartel. That is true. And that is killing not only Venezuelan people, but also American people and people from other countries intentionally. This is what's happening in Venezuela. Is not like other countries, Mexico or whatever, in which you see the cartels infiltrating certain institutions of government. This is not the case. What's happening in Venezuela is the cartel, the drug cartel is in power, has taken over everything. Our institutions, our resources, our territory, ports, airports, the military, planes. It's all under the control and power of the cartel. This has never, ever happened here in our hemisphere before. So we have been during years, Barry, demanding the international community to understand that Maduro is not a conventional dictator, that this is a criminal terrorist structure that is destroying purposely our society, our population. And finally, we're seeing that the United States is taking a law enforcement approach, which is correct. Why? Because these systems stay in power and are supported by the flows they get from criminal activities, not only drug trafficking, gold smuggling, arms smuggling, human trafficking, the black market of oil. That's, all those.
So, Maria, do you support this effort by the Trump administration?
To dismantle the criminal narco-terrorist cartel? Yes, absolutely, I do.
And do you think if it was pursued aggressively, it could actually lead to Maduro's downfall?
I have no doubt that Maduro is going to leave. As I said before, the cracks and fractures within the regime are growing as we speak. Every day, the very few that still support him, the top brass or the financial enablers that are doing obscene amount of money with the hunger of Venezuela, start to realize that it's over. And we offered Maduro from day one, when we won the election, the possibility of a negotiated transition. And he refused and decided, as we mentioned, to go with all force and brutal repression against the people. Now Maduro still has a chance to live peacefully. How long? We don't know. But he is the one responsible for what's going on. He declared a war against the Venezuelan people and against the international community. It was his decision. So now we had to come to this point because, as I said, I've repeated this many times, to have peace, you need freedom. And in order to have freedom, you do need to have strength and more when you are facing a narco-terrorist organization, which is the case in Venezuela.